Hey everyone, before this video starts, I'd like to give a special thank you to all my Patreon and Twitch subscribers. If you'd like to learn how to support this channel, possibly for free, just hang out till the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Here's the pull-in. Okay. The leader of Sexy Summer Camp recommends that children begin to masturbate as toddlers. Masturbation is really healthy, and I recommend it to people of all ages. All ages. As soon as my nephews could talk, they were doing it. Okay.
That's how we should, like get down with yourself, explore your own body. Masturbation is really healthy, and I recommend it to people of all ages. All ages. As soon as my nephews could talk, they were doing that. That's what they were doing. Kids touch themselves.
What? Wait. Okay, so you learn to talk about 10 months old. So right off the bat, you're just wrong. Like, listen, here's the thing. There's a conversation to be had that, like, kids, younger people, are more sexually inclined than we would like to admit in society. And the reason is justifiable, because it's gross. It's gross to think about it. Okay? It's a gross thing to think about. But kids, as soon as they hit puberty, they start to, their body goes through changes and they start to get experimental. The thing is that you shouldn't be recommending that they do it, right? You just shouldn't be stopping them from doing it if they do it, unless it's in an inappropriate instance. So if you have a 12-year-old who's going at it and you walk in on his room and you close the door and you walk away and you pretend it never happened, okay? That's how you do it. And most parents just know that. They're like, oh, he's doing his thing. And when it comes to education in the classroom setting, there is a conversation, like, once it's appropriate, age appropriate to start talking about it, I don't know what age you would consider that, you would talk about it in a way that doesn't discourage, like, masturbation, because it's a fine, healthy thing to do, whatever. It's totally fine. It's fine to teach that when you get to, like, an appropriate age. I don't know what age I would say, maybe 12 or 14 or 16. I don't really know. I'm not, and teach safe sex practices. The thing is that, like, I talked to my wife about this after I got off. There was a video about, what's up, Ben? The cat. Okay. Jesus, who closed this? Here you go. Thank you. It's fine. There's a video that I just commented on about a 13-year-old talking about how they lost their V card. And one of the things I said is, like, that feels like kind of young to learn that. And so the argument that I made in the video was, like, that's kind of young. I feel like if you're that young and you know what sex is, that might mean that one of the people was abused as a child, because kids shouldn't have that sexual education. And my wife responded with, like, well, kids look at porn when they're 13, and, like, that's not where you should get education from, and there's a whole conversation to have about that. But that's where a lot of people do, and, like, some people start at, like, 12, 13. She was like, I started at, like, 8, which is fucking insane. You're crazy. Like, I started at 13, like a normal person. However, fundamentally, that argument still exists for somebody that's, like, 7 or 6 or whatever. Somebody who doesn't have exposure to that kind of stuff. Okay? A 10-month-old shouldn't know how to masturbate. Okay? There's no reason, and I doubt there's even any sexual desire, because they haven't hit puberty. All right?
Kids start to ask questions, and we teach them the language for their bodies, right? That's your nose, touch your nose, show Aunt T you can touch your nose. Okay. But my sister's not saying that when they're tugging at their penis, right?
We shouldn't. Don't say that. You say, don't do that, and do that in private or something, depending on how old they are.
But it feels good, right?
And, like, kids that touch their pesci, that's what my mom used to call it. It's usually because they have to take a piss, by the way. For me, like, my mom called it a pesci, so that's why I'm embarrassed now. She'd be like, oh, you gotta go potty? And I'd be like, yeah, because I'm a fucking kid. That's how I signaled that I had to go pee. I would grab at my fucking wiener. She would bring me to go to the bathroom. Like, that was it. Like, I don't know that kids are going around like, this feels so good, and just, like, mashing it around like fucking mashed potatoes,
We have to learn ways to talk to young people about this so that they know how to explore their body consensually, so that it's not in public, right? We don't want people exploring their bodies in public. That's not consensual. But exploring your body at any age, grandmas, grandpas, all of us need to be exploring our body. That's how we
I don't know what to say. Is there more information here? Okay, so here we go. This looks like one of them. I don't know. Let's see. Tanya Turner is a femme, fat, queer, magical pleasure worker. Wow. The biggest issue I have with this video, by the way, is that the of all ages problem. If you want to start like sexual education when a kid's like 12 or whatever the appropriate age is, that's fine. I don't care. But like talking about toddlers is just really weird. Let's see. She's a magical pleasure worker, educator, and artist. So what do you do? OnlyFans? She was raised in I don't care. She was raised in Kentucky. She's a witchy woman. She has sisters and cousins, and they have a coven-like mountain matriarchy. Wow, this sounds incredible. Her craft tools are candles, crystals, oils. This is what craft tools? What the fuck? Dude, what? Okay, I'm not even going to read the rest of that. Caitlin Cummings. I mean, you already lost me. Is a 23-year-old radical queer mountain woman. Listen, I'm fine with you educating your kids or even somebody educating their kids on sex or something, or maybe a teacher, but like I don't know how I feel about like radical queer. I don't care about queer people or gay people or whatever teaching kids about sex. That's not the problem. But there's a difference between like gay people and Caitlin Cummings. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start talking about how you're a witchy, radical, queer mountain woman that is a sex worker and you fucking like it when kids tug on their wieners or whatever, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a little too much for me. Okay, this is a musician, songwriter, activist. I feel like you need a longer degree. Like, what's your degree? I feel like you should have to go to school to have like a fucking degree in psychology or something to teach sex to kids. Okay. She's a fat, differently abled queer community organizer. All right, you're all community organizers? Okay. Interesting. This is what the schedule looks like. Sex with me. Self-pleasuring workshop. I don't know, dude. Reproductive health, that's fine. Gender diversity, talk it out, relationships. I mean, these don't seem inherently bad. I just don't understand if not for the age thing, I wouldn't think that it was so wrong. This is the website here. Okay. The video is unavailable on YouTube, which implies that they have a YouTube. Okay. These look like people old enough to learn. These look like people old enough to learn. These people all look like they're at a finally like their age is totally appropriate to learn. I don't understand why there was the mention of toddlers. That really looks dumb. They've privated their account. Their Twitter is privated now. I mean, I understand the reaction that people are having of this person, but it's like, holy shit. How much is it? $0 to $500. Wow, what a potential deal. Okay, so let's see. Sex with me, self-pleasure, reproductive health. That's fine. The basics, gender diversity, talk it out. Relationships, that sounds fine too. Let's talk about sex, over-sexualization, and policing of blackness. Oh. Over-sexualization and policing of blackness. Here's the problem that I have with this. Okay, let me see if let's see. The problem that I have with this is I haven't seen, and I continue to not see a single black person working for them. And I have kind of a problem. Like, listen, I think it's great. White people should engage in discourse about black issues, of course. But I find it really weird and performative when you engage in that discourse without a black person there. You know what I'm saying? It seems fucking weird. How the fuck do you know? How do you even know about really black issues without just get a fucking, hey, we got to get a black girl. How hard would it, or a black non-binary, or I guess a black guy, but I'm assuming they're keeping it to women or female expression, people who didn't express themselves as women, whatever. You get my point. But like, it's weird that you have a bunch of white fucking girls teaching people about blackness. Doesn't make sense. Sexy trans sex ed. Again, I understand that there is a blanket, not like trans is a blanketed term for people who identify, and also people who identify as well as like go through transitioning. My thing is that when you talk about trans issues, I think that I don't know if they have trans people in here, but I wouldn't doubt that they don't have trans inclusivity. Like, I'm talking about like medically transitioning people, because it's a different experience between somebody who identifies differently versus somebody who goes through like an actual transition. Those are two different things. You need to be able to, if you're going to talk about trans like sexual health education, then you should have trans people, mostly medically transitioned people, talk about it. Self-managed abortion info share. What? Self-managed abortion? What does that even mean? Why would you want to do that? What does self-managed abortion mean? Okay. Pelvic floor health is for everybody. Okay. The 3 P's: pee, poop, and pleasure. What adult would need to hear that? Like, I don't think a 13-year-old needs to hear about pee and poop. What? Are you talking about how it's pleasurable to pee and poop? I mean, I guess, like, biologically, there is a level of pleasure you get from pooping, because, like, your body wants to incentivize you to poop. So it's like, yeah, it feels kind of good to poop or pee. It's relieving, but and it's fine if you have a fucking fetish. You do you, brother. But, you know, like, why, we don't need to teach people to have pee-pee fetishes. Sex on drugs. What does that mean? Having sex on drugs? You shouldn't be advocating for that. Eugenics in Appalachia. Okay. Contraceptive opinions, sex after body trauma, cycle tracking, and closing celebration. Wow, incredible. This I'm just gonna tell you, this seems like an okay idea, executed very poorly. 5-Minute Crafts Abortion Edition. Yeah, let me make that the title of this video. Yeah, man. I mean, like, okay, I'm not necessarily against the idea of sexual health education for teenagers, I guess. But I really think that you should have to have a degree in this to talk about it in the right way. Maybe like some kind of, like the show, I think it's Sex Education or something, is a show, or like an English show or British or whatever, that I watched, which was like a really good take on sexual education for like younger people. Like, and it was really for like 16 and 17-year-olds, and like teaching them more about like a better way about sex. This just misses the mark. Misses the fucking mark to me. But okay, I mean, I could see why people are super upset, because even looking through it myself, it's dog shit. Seems kind of terrible. Sexysexed.org. Incredible. Okay. All right. Well, that was an interesting I don't know what the fuck she's doing there. Interesting segment. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.